I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm just going to talk about postpartum depression. Mostly the difference between, have you heard of the baby blues?
Mm-hmm.
The difference between the baby blues and postpartum depression, because a lot of people don't know the difference. These are just pictures. So, postpartum depression is not a flaw or weakness. It's just a complication from giving birth, and it sometimes needs to be treated. Receiving treatment for postpartum depression will help you manage your symptoms and enjoy your baby. And you're only 20 weeks, so you have a long way before you. But it's good to know it right now, just in case. So we'll give you this. So when you do have your baby, it's perfect. Okay, so my title up here is I'm crying all the time. Do I have postpartum depression? So it just depends on like how long it lasts, really. The baby blues, it's an emotional reaction classified as mild depression with interspersed happier feelings. It's usually like right after you have the baby. And like the number one, like, I guess like how you know it's baby blues is when you cry for no reason. Like someone just looks at you funny and you start crying. It's usually like right after delivery, or this says a few days after. So it's normal. And I think I have up to 80% of mothers experience baby blues. So if that happens, it's fine. It can be self-limiting, lasting a few hours today. So if you're really emotional, like you might need, obviously you have support, so that's good, but like you might need support with the baby if you're really emotional. It's caused from just a rapid alteration in hormones after you give birth, and hormones change. As a mother, you may feel overwhelmed, fatigued, oversensitive, which we talked about, and cry without reason, which we talked about. So that's the baby blues. And then postpartum depression is different just because it's lasts longer and it's after, kind of more after you have the baby, and it can actually occur anytime in the first year. So a lot of people don't know that. Like, you can get it like 6 months after you've had the baby. And it's a mood disorder. Happens after giving birth. It most often occurs around the 4th week. Just before you get your period back, or since you're breastfeeding, whenever you try to wean them off the breast, that's another like risk factor when it can happen. The best way to know if you're suffering from postpartum depression is to know the symptoms, which is loss of interest in activities, trouble eating. A big one is if you're not bonding with the baby. Like if the baby's crying and you're not picking him up, you're just sitting there. You probably won't notice that yourself, but it's good to tell like your partner these symptoms to watch for. If you're withdrawn from family or friends, that's another one that you're not going to know, but they will. Feelings of shame or guilt, and then thoughts of self-harm or harm to the baby. When that happens, that's kind of gone from postpartum depression to like postpartum psychosis, which is kind of different, but it kind of goes into that. But that's when you really need to seek like treatment. And then down here I have, if you can no longer manage your symptoms and need help, you should talk with your therapist and seek treatment. And the faster you seek treatment, the faster you can get that mother-baby bonding back. I have some statistics. I'm not going to read them all, but you can read them if you want. This one I just wanted to say is 49% of women who suffer from postnatal depression do not seek treatment. So that's why you hear about all that stuff in the news. Like,
what craziness.
Yeah, that's what it is. And they don't get treatment for it. And I forget. There was another one I was going to... Oh, a third of women who suffer depression during pregnancy go on to have postnatal depression. And I didn't put it in here, but I looked at the risk factors, and really the only risk factor you would have is that it's your first baby. That's a risk factor. But all the other ones are different, like lack of social support. You have social support, and lack of family support. You have family support. And then on the back here, ignore that. This is just resources about the baby blues. That one's baby blues. March of Dimes has a page because that's like for preemie babies. So a lot of those moms whose babies are in the NICU, if that happened, you could go to that website. Postpartum.net, and then Mayo Clinic's a really good one, not just for postpartum depression, but it has lots of like other good medical information on it too. So you can keep that.
All right, thank you.